We're back again with Top of the Crops with my top 20 favourite mods in Farming Simulator 22. Come along with me, MrSealyp's. It's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a top, well, this is a top 20 this time. As I said in the previous one, it was supposed to be top 5s. So, top 20 favourite mods on Farming Simulator 22. This was going to be a top 10. I could not get this down to 10, and the same as the last one, this could have been a 20, a 30, a 40. There are so many fantastic mods. Now, if you watch my mod reviews, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know that I do like something that stands out, something a bit different. Something, the same with everybody. A favourite mod will be something that means something to you for whatever reason. Your favourite mods will be different to mine, as I did with the previous one of my most helpful mods. So we'll crack straight on because we've got 20 to get through, and again these are in no particular order. People asked, I said this in the last one as well, people have asked what are your favourite mods, what are your top 5, top 10, so here it is. You don't have to agree with them, of course you don't. You're going to have a completely different top 5, 10, 20, however many it may be. But I'm going to start with this. This is the Colossus Harvesters Pack by Chris S and Riley S. Now this is not a deep dive into the mods, this is not a mod review, this is just a look at, these are the mods, why I like them, and we'll kind of move along. So, this pack expanded over time. It started with a harvester, then it went on to root crops, then it went on to cotton, all in the pack. What I love about this mod and mod pack, I've spoken to Chris S and Riley S, or to Chris S mostly, they just wanted to make stuff that was usable and fun and that kind of thing, and I love that about it. I love the fact there are so many options on this, well, all of this in this pack, for tyre choices, colour choices, strobe lights, lighting, there's Halloween lights, there's Christmas lights, there's EMT, there's police, and you know, you can do whatever you want. If you don't want to do any of that, you can just have the standard harvester. You've then got standard configurations and you've got unrealistic configurations, up to and including, I think, the root crop harvester, which is actually down there, with a 500,000 litre capacity. Again, you don't have to use the unreal capacity, but if you want to, high speeds, high engine horsepowers, the whole shebang. So, as I said, no particular order. I love the design of them, the look of them, the colour options just work. Now this one will harvest at 43 miles an hour with the correct header. So if you're in a hurry, you need to get stuff done, it will work. Bear with me, I'm going to switch over to the root crop harvester. Now this can either do potatoes or sugar beet, or you can have it, this one, to do both. Again, standard, unrealistic, there's all different options and configurations and colours and choices and that kind of stuff. The headers, I love this as well, because if you've got multiple headers, you can often, you know, not remember which one's which. So it's got a little picture on there to tell you which one it is. This one as well, what I love is when you turn this one, I've gone with neon lights on this. Look, when you turn it on, green neon lights around the side. This one went for green strobes. I think the other one was it EMT I went for? I should have shown you on the other harvester. This one will run at 46 miles an hour with the correct header, engine horsepower configurations. And this is among the 500,000 litre capacity. I love it. And then we move on to the cotton harvester, which again, this will do standard size bales, but this is the fast farm edition again with the correct configurations. What beacon did I go for this and this? I can't remember what went for this one. Is that Valentine's? It might be Valentine's Day lights, beacons, all the rest of it. Lighting on them was amazing. Like I say, options. This one's got triples on it. It's, you know, and this will harvest at 42 miles an hour. But like I say, it's not just about the speed on these, it's about everything, all the options, all the stuff that's been done, the attention to detail, just to give you so many choices. And that's what we said, I like when you get options, when you get choices, so you can pick and choose what you want to do. That's brilliant. So the Colossus Harvesters Pack by Chris S and Riley S. I'm going to leave that running because that will be finished by the time we're done. Next. we've got this. This is the case IH Magnum 340-400 series special edition FL front loader. This is by Mac Trucker 921. I used this on Edgewater. Now this is another update since I think the last time I used it. What I love about this, complete multi-tool. This can go up to 886 horsepower if you want it to. Loads of options for tyre choices and that kind of stuff. Front loader adapter on this as well for a big tractor. That's fairly unusual, but you can pick what front loader type you want to go with. This one's got a wheel loader front end on it, so you can put wheel loader tools on it, which means you've got massive capacities on your front loader. But part of this pack, because that gets heavy on the front end, there's a weight on the back. I mean, there's tons of weight mods and stuff, but also in your options you can have liquid tank in this as well. 1,800 litre liquid fertiliser or herbicide built in, so you can have an option to take it on or off. We've got light options on this as well. I'm not showing you in the last stage. It's not a mod review. I'm not going to show you where they all are. I did that on the previous one. I think I kind of went a bit too in depth on that kind of quick look at favourite mods. But what did I go for? Police on that one, I think. But it's a brilliant mod. It works really well. 42 mph top speed as well, so it's no slouch around the map as well, or around any map. Not too expensive when you consider everything you can do with it. Let's do that, that and that. Take that off. And as the Magnum goes, it's a very cool tractor anyway. There we go. The Case IH Magnum 340-400 series by Mac Trucker 921. Next, these won't be a surprise if you know me and you've been following my channel for a while. So I was going to put these in together as a sort of a twofer. I mean, I suppose technically we've got three. You know, I like Land Rovers. I know these are Santanas, but my Land Rovers I have a bit of a passion for. So the Lizard Santana 88, the 88 pickup, they are separate mods, and then we've got the, what was that? That was the Protector 90, isn't it? Yeah, the Protector 90, all by AFModding. I like the old style Land Rovers. My brother, I've said this before on my videos, my brother owned one. Again, this is why they become favourite mods, and your favourite mods will be different because mods will mean different things to you. It might be an old tractor that you ran on a farm with your father, your grandfather, your grandmother, whoever it might be. It could be a whole number of different things. But yeah, trialling in an old Series 2, absolutely loved it. But then I do like the 90s, the newer 90s. And again, these with the options, suspension travel, the detail on them, as I say, there's so many reasons why I like these particular mods. So yeah, we got the Santana pickup, which has got an option you can have that back off, so it's like an open pickup, or you can have it with sides on it for bale trailing, a bale trailer. They're just brilliant. Like I say, the suspension movement on them, it's something I often look for on mods when you're going over rough terrain. When I did my 6 Ashes on FS19 and I did a Land Rover trialling episode, I'm glad they came to FS22 because I love the movement of the vehicles. They're just brilliant, really, really nice. I'm pretty sure the roof rack on the I was doing that, go on the side. Yeah, straps on the roof rack if you go for the roof rack option on the standard Santana. And there's bull bar options and tyres on the front, tyre on the rear, gas can on it. There's so many different options. Then the Protector 90. Again, you can have all off-road kit. We've got options on this for a fire rescue, a police version, a construction version. There are light options. You can just have it as a standard off-roader if you want to. LED lights, police strobe bar. We've also got, bear with me, if you want a little bit of realism to it, but I really do like this. And then we've also got on here fold down seats, and door opens and closes. They're just cracking mods. Love them to bits. So that's actually sort of 3. We've done 3 in fairly quick succession. As far as where you'll find all these, they're fairly straightforward. You know, your tractors are under tractors, your harvesters are under harvesters, and you know, wherever root crop harvesters and the various different headers. These you'll find under cars. Lovely mods. I would use them all the time if I could. Absolutely brilliant. The Lizard Santana 88 pickup and the Lizard Protector 90. Next to that, we've got this. Now, I reviewed this fairly recently, and I just really liked it. Of all the bicycle type mods, again, it doesn't have to be farming. It's a favourite mod because it makes you smile, because it makes you happy. You know, when you're using it, you're grinning like an idiot. It doesn't matter whether it's farming or not. If you want to cycle to and from, you know, I said before, I think when I was watching Tom Pemberton, he was at a dairy farm, and they were using the little like segways and what was it, like they call it, not a boogie board, where you sort of stand on them and as you lean forward they roll without a handle in the dairy, going up and down the actual, you know, it's fantastic. So yeah, why not? It doesn't matter. This is the Lizard mountain bike by SleutjesModding. I liked this because of the sound effects, because of the front suspension travel. Again, we're onto suspension again, but when you brake, you've got the freewheeling sound of your chain, but the suspension movement on this, I just really liked it when I did the mod review on it. And I said when I did the mod review I was just going to ride it around, and this is another one. Like the Land Rovers, and a lot of the mods that have got so much detail, I could just spend ages just watching, you know, everything moving, the detail that's put in, that again we often take for granted on mods. It's just taking the time to pay attention to those details and enjoy them for what they are. And I like this one very much. Fairly straightforward, but very cool. The Lizard mountain bike by SleutjesModding. Next, we'll go to this because I've come off my list. My list was in an order, not an order of, you know, best to last or, you know, whatever it might be. So we've got the Beaverator 1600 tub grinder by Blacksheep modding. Again, this stood out to me. The engineering, the idea behind it, the fact it was different, it stood out. I just think it's brilliant. You can change the configurations on this to do stones to lime. You can do wood to wood chip. You can do bales, so you can throw solid bales in there and break them up. I think I went for wood to wood chips. I think when I did this before, I went for lime by mistake, stone to lime. But this comes as a pack with this rear section here. The rear section can be detached and this can be driven on its own, but it's fairly slow. So for getting it around the map, you attach this rear section on, which makes it into a trailer to be pulled, well, with whatever, you know, gooseneck or whatever it might be you've got. And it works brilliantly. It looks great, it works well. If I start the engine, if I detach the back section, puts all that down, and we can drive it in its own right. So when you get to where you're going, to move it around on site, you can move it around as you want to. We can open the pipe out. I've thrown one log in there already. I haven't got a trailer there, but we've got lights and beacons and, you know, all sorts of cool stuff. And you can throw your logs in there. You can, again, lime, bales, whatever it is you want to put in there. If we unfold it, it opens up the bin side. Finish unfolding. Okay. Is it going to actually take that? There we go. So it's produced the wood chips. If I had a trailer there, the wood chips would come out the back. You just throw it all in and away it goes. And like I say, what I like about this comes separately. Step on that. That can be then put away. I did say I would like to see this with sort of more options for uses. So when you've detached it from the back, you could maybe, I mean, you can use it. I have done a couple of times. I think I did it off camera for pushing log piles around, and that, as you can see, it doesn't say it. Sometimes it gets caught up, but depending on how big your logs are, and that just goes under the back for transportation. It's another really cool mod that stands out because of what it does, the design of it, the detail that's gone into it. I mean, Blacksheep modding, yeah. They do a fantastic job with their mods. That's the Beaverator 1600 tub grinder by JCB Modding. Next, we've got this. This is the Lizard Twin Screw XBR2 by SiiD Modding. This is another one that stood out to me simply because yes, it's a harvester, yes, there are tons of harvesters in game, but the design of it was so different. I love the fact it's got a large capacity, it's fairly fast for a harvester across the ground. Because it's on tracks and they're fairly short, this thing will turn on a dime. It's a brilliant mod. I'm not sure if it's going to work with this header. This is one of the Titan headers from the Colossus pack. It's quite a big header, so I'm not sure if this will have the horsepower to actually run it. But those are the reasons why I like it. It's a different design, it stands out, and it's, I think, if I recall correctly, it's fairly inexpensive compared to other harvesters. Here, yeah, 187 grand for the base model. And we can go up to a large tank with 29,100 litres in it, which adds a bit more on, but even that's 229,000 for a 29,100 litre harvester. There's track options, there's all sorts of stuff on there, and even if this is just one of those things you go, you know what, I'd forgotten about that mod, or I didn't know it existed, or you know, I'm not sure if it's going to run this. It might do because on the flat, because this has got a Titan header on it, this will run faster anyway. If it's got a standard header, it will run at 6 miles an hour, but depending on what harvester header you obviously combine it with, tell it, drop the header off. So, like I said, over the ground, this turns on a dime and it will run at 31 miles an hour for a harvester. That's pretty rapid. So when you do get to the end of your fields, you haven't got that big turning circle. You just whip this round and boom, off you go again. It's a fantastic bit of kit. Again, really nicely modelled, nicely detailed. A whole host of reasons why I like it. Some of which I've already mentioned, pretty much all of them. That's the Lizard Twin Screw XBR2 by SiiD Modding. Next, we've got this. This is the JCB Backhoe Loader by Kenny456. Now this comes in a line of 3 from Kenny456 that stand out to me personally. This always reminds me, and it's a great mod. It's a great model. It works well. You know, you've got to add in some element of narrative, some storytelling. You know, you can use it for moving crops and stuff around, but if you want to go in for a construction type thing, there's a whole host of ways you can make it work. I do get people still asking me, because when I do it on videos, I'll dig a trench using the landscape tool. I might fill it with barley or something, or iron ore that you dig out, and then people ask me, how are you managing to dig the ground out? It's all done with landscaping tool, with editing and that kind of stuff. It's just kind of the magic of YouTubing. But it's a great mod, and it just reminds me of being a kid. I've said this before when I was a child, when you do the carpet farming with the old Britain's toys, and I still collect model tractors. Having a little JCB tractor like this on the floor, and when you're out and about as a kid, so, oh, it's a digger, you know, your first kind of introduction in the world of, you know, because these are more common to see around on small building sites than the big excavators you sort of see around more now. And it just stood out. You know, like I say, it's a cracking mod. You know, it works fantastically well. We can fold the backhoe away, we can change our driving position. We can switch to the front end loader. Just, yeah, I love it. It's a brilliant mod by Kenny456. It really, really is. The JCB Backhoe Loader. Now, next to that, we've got this. Now, as you can imagine, this stands out for all sorts of reasons. I love the fact FS22 with the Platinum expansion, we've got the wood containers, and there's been a whole load of stuff with 82 Studio and Hispano with various different grain containers and liquid containers and various different things. Now, I haven't used this in anger yet, but it's a favourite mod because it stood out. And it was, what I liked about it was it looks complicated and it's a big piece of machinery, but it was really, really straightforward to use. Yes, on one of the last mod reviews it did have a bit of an issue with picking up the lorry rather than the back that I was disconnecting, but I don't know if that was the mod or whether it was the mod I was connecting to, but regardless, it's a brilliant mod and it adds such an element to it. If you are running a big logging operation, you might have a big, you know, a logging empire, and you might have a whole wood container section, or just containers in general. You might have a train station or a depot or whatever it might be. It's a brilliant mod and it works really well. Again, Kenny456. We hop in and start it up. Just again, the level of detail on it, the range of motion, the camera angles. So our in-cab, it just you know, it looks fantastic. But then we've got the underside option as well, and then our operation of it, up and down, side to side. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. You can't really go wrong. We got, oh yeah, I forgot about that. We got our seat option on top. So we can operate it and see what we're doing from in-cab as well. With tension straps on it as well, so when you get to, you know, whatever it is you're picking up, it's just a brilliant mod. It really is. And because it's something so different, you know, we discussed this at FarmCon, a lot of the content creators, and we were talking about mods and modding and various different things, and we talked about the 3-meter cultivator phenomenon. You know, we were saying about people putting out mods, and if it's your first mod ever, a 3-meter cultivator might be what you've done, and you've put blood, sweat and tears into that. You've made it, and it's exactly how it should be. And people go, oh, it's another 3-meter cultivator, but it doesn't matter. But when you've had a lot of those, or a lot of similar things over a few weeks, when something like this comes along and really stands out, it grabs your attention. So that's why that grabbed my attention absolutely massively. That's the Liebherr SC350T, I think. Yes, it's inside there. Look, 350T by Kenny456. So on to the third from Kenny456. Again, well, not again, but in the logging area, we've got this, the Claas Xerion Wood Crusher. Kenny456. Again, blimey, does this stand out as something really different. And there are so many different ways to wood chip in game. But I loved the idea of it. Again, a few different options for tyre choices, and if you go for the Claas option, you can have the tracked version. The container, you can have high or low tip, so if you're tipping into containers or trailers or whatever it might be, you've got a crane on there which you can, and I have to be honest, it works fairly well. As far as cranes go, I know people say the crane physics aren't great in game, and they take a bit of practice, but it does work pretty well. If we jump in, start it up. So we've got our all-wheel steer, which we can change. Front wheel, all-wheel. It's just a brilliant bit of kit. I think we can, that one, yeah, I'm raising lower up and down. Turn on our wood crusher. I just grabbed these because it'll be easier than using the crane for doing this. Come on. Already in the back, and we can carry on. I mean, I know I tried to do this before, and so if you lift the logs up ever so slightly when I did the mod review on this, you can kind of feed logs in if you're on a slight slope. So if you build up a little mound on the ground and when you lay these down, you can drive up and you can pretty much load a log in without having to use the crane if you don't want to use the crane. I'm not going to try and feed one in because I'm not that good at it, but when we come to unloading, we can unload here. This was just, and you can see the Xerion underneath, you know, but such an amazing bit of engineering and a cool piece of machinery. And again, if you're doing wood chipping and you've done it a bit and you think, I want to do something different, you know, I want to try something different, this is a cracking bit of kit to try with. Again, nicely modelled, really well made, and it works really well. It's a brilliant bit of kit. I'm going to say with all these because these are my favourite mods. Of course I am. The Claas Xerion Wood Crusher by Kenny456. Now, in the vein of that kind of thing, this stands out because, again, if you know me, you know my channel, and you've watched any of my videos and any of my blogs and man cave tours and that kind of thing, I'm a bit of a Star Wars fan, so had to be done. The Lightsabers by Univers Simu. Again, I say it's not farming, is it? Of course it's not, but because it will be used to cut wood, cut lumber, cut down trees, and the sound effects, it's just, and again, it just makes me smile. It's one of those things, does it have to be in game? No. If you're offended that it is in game, don't use it. Don't buy it. It really doesn't matter. Life's too short to get bent out of shape over stuff. And it does the job. Like I say, it just makes me smile. In various different colours. I think we've got a red, blue and a green. It's brilliant. The light sword lightsaber by Univers Simu modding. Next, we have this. This is the Merlo P41.7 by ARM team. Why do I like this? Why is this my favourite? Why does it stand out? There are loads of telehandler mods, teleloader mods in game, and they're brilliant. I've used various different ones and various different Let's Plays. This stands out. I used this on 6 Ashes on FS19. Did we have it on FS17? I'm trying to remember now. What always stood out to me on this, what I really liked about it, was the options on it. From the back, to have it standard, you can have it with a hitch, which is this section here, with a PTO. So if you wanted to run something that required PTO, it wasn't that thing of, oh yeah, it does work, but it really should have PTO. No, it's on here. Or you could have it with that rear hitch section and a 3-point link. So as far as it making it a more usable vehicle. Now, again, there are crated 3-point links. There are various different mods now that enable us to do this sort of thing. So can you do this with other telehandlers? Yes, you can. But the fact this came as standard, so to speak, I really like that as an option with it. I thought it was a brilliant bit of kit, and it's compact, quite powerful. The boom length on it was pretty good, if I recall correctly. It's not bad. Not bad at all, but like I say, having that option on the back with a 3-point link, you've got tractor options, you know. So if you're looking to get a telehandler, you haven't got a lot of money, and you want something that can, you know, whatever, and you can run a fertilizer spreader off the back of this, you know, whatever. 3-point link mounted with a PTO does give it a load of different options straight off the bat. It's another really nicely made mod, really detailed, looks great. You can have it with a setting to either have the door to unfold automatically or the window, depending which one you want to go for. I love it. Very cool piece of kit. The Merlo P41.7 by ARM team. Next, oh yeah, next we've got these. Now I have lumped these together. These are 2 separate mods, but for all intents and purposes they are the same mod, just rebranded. That's why I've put them both out. This is the John Deere 8350 and Case 5100 by ARM team as well. Why do I like these? Why are these favourites? Again, when you're starting out and you're trying to get a SiiD and you want to get a fairly decent width, but you haven't got enough money, these are a 5.2 metre width. They're only 6,000 to buy. That's all, 6 grand. But you've got the option on these to extend these sides out. So as your farm starts to grow, you don't necessarily have to buy a bigger seeder. You can just buy multiple ones of these, and you can hook them together. So you can go from a 5.2 to a 10.4 to a 15 points. You know, you can really build up fairly quickly and fairly inexpensively. Plus, they are direct drills. Now, the capacity of them isn't massive. SiiD is at 830 in each. You can do SiiD and fertiliser if you want to. But if you run a tank on the front with SiiD in it as well, to me, it's a no-brainer to get started. I've used them a lot of times. Again, FS19, I think, I'm trying to think, was that the first time we had them on console? And yeah, they work, and they work well, and they're a brilliant idea. The fact you've got a trailer hitch in the middle as well, so when you're going to and from the field, you can link them together, so they're not all spread out behind you at 15 metres or however far you want to go out. I'm pretty sure on Washoe, I think it was a Washoe, I ran 5 of these together, if I recall correctly. To make sure I just get the right one. There we go. I'm sure I ran 5 of these together, which you can do, provided you've got the horsepower. This might pull a little bit to the side, but so if I switch to that, we can move these in and out, so you don't have to have them out all the time. And what you can do, if you wanted to, you can pull that in a little bit if you're too far out, but because they're direct drills as well, lots of bang for your buck. I'll start off like this, but it's hard work. I think they only require something like 60 horsepower each as well. They're brilliant. They are a firm favourite, definitely. The John Deere 8350 and Case 5100 by ARM team. Brilliant. Next. Now I know in this top 20 we've got quite a few vehicles, as in the Santanas, the Protector. We've got a couple more coming up in a little while. I was going to pick one, but I decided to go with two. It'll make more sense in a minute. But this is the AW4x4 by Adams Kong, the Willys Jeep. I used this on Griffin, Indiana, as a kind of, you know, it'd be a nice little nod to it being American, and I loved it. Again, suspension travel, the look of it. Why is this a favourite of mine? Why does this stand out? Well, this always reminds me, and it did at the time, so why I've got it in the woodland. One of my favourite films of all time is A Bridge Too Far, and it reminds me of the scenes with James Caan and his lieutenant, who is wounded, and he's trying to get him back to an aid station, and they're careering through the woodland, avoiding enemy troops and stuff. And as a kid, I remember watching that film. That was the coolest thing ever. I just thought it was absolutely amazing. So then, to get one in game, if you've gone for the cover option, you can put that up. You can do that for the inclement weather. But I love it. And again, it's one of those ones that it's a favourite because it just makes me smile, and it reminds me of, you know, I don't know, just being young, I guess. Watching films with my dad on a Sunday afternoon, you know. It's a brilliant mod as well. Love it. The AW4x4 by Adams Kong. Next, we've got this. This is the Lizard Roadrunner Hay Squeezer. This is by Pascal Counts. I mean, why would this not stand out? It's a brilliant mod. And again, on a week where mods might have been fairly ordinary, this was like, whoa, okay. You can have the squeeze grab on the front, or you can have bale spikes if you want to operate with this. There's options for different colour choices. You don't have to have the decals on if you don't want to. There were different lighting options with our beacons. It's just cool. Driving it forwards at 51 miles an hour to get wherever you want to go. And then when you get to where you want to go, change driving position. I'll say, I think the bale spikes I prefer with this. I think to get this to grab properly, you have to come right into the bale. But there's nothing wrong with that. So we squeeze into the bale a little bit. Oh, move it side thing up. There we go. In to grab the bale a little bit. And the height as well on this. It's just again, I love it. What a fantastic piece of machinery. As I was opening and closing the jaws on that, this can go side to side as well. This is like there we go. Yeah, so if you get to where you're going and you're not quite lined up properly, the whole side thing can roll side to side to line yourself up a little bit better. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Lizard Roadrunner Hay Squeezer by Pascal Counts. Next. Now I know I've got two of these. I have a favourite of the two, but Just the whole monster trucks thing, you know, it's that kind of, it's zany, it's bonkers. They sound cool. They're just fun to use. And again, when they came out and when I was setting this up earlier, it was just making me smile. I was honking around the map, just jumping over things, and just being a bit of a lout, really. We start off with the Simulator 22 monster truck by Viper GTS 96, and behind that we got the flatbed monster truck by Mack Trucker 921. These are, I put these down as two separate. And the options on these, what I love as well, part of the Kubota pack. Options on this one, you can put seats in. You can have one seat, you can put two seats in the back. You can have there's a tank option that goes in the back of this if you want to. So you can sit. I love that. You can use it as a normal back, so you can unload. But we'll jump in. It's quite loud, so. If we unload here. You can tip that up manually, but you can unload. So if you've got passengers in the back, you feel like a bit of a laugh. But it's the movement of the vehicle as you're turning. Up to 111 miles an hour. And again, it's not farming. It doesn't matter. If it makes you smile and it makes you happy, who cares? So that's the Simulator 22 monster truck by Viper GTS 96, then the flatbed monster truck. This goes up to 158. And you can use it as a flatbed, which is amazing. And it has got a trailer hitch on it as well. Tension straps on there. Stuff I didn't show you the steering on that one. Front wheel. Rear wheel, all wheel. Now this doesn't have the suspension movement, this is fairly flat, this one. But when this gets going, wow. You have to be careful with bumps. I'm sure when I did the mod review of this thing just, I hit a bump and it just flew. But I love the sound of it. Almost like Top Fuel dragster kind of, you know, where you're burning through gallons of fuel a second. But yeah, like I say, they just make me smile. They're just fun. So that's the two monster trucks by Viper GTS 96 and Mack Trucker 921. Next to that, we've got this. This is functional, but it's a favourite because of what it does and how it works, and it's brilliant. This is the Grimmer SL8022 Quantum and TC816 Autoload by Dr. Drulia. I like this. It's a belt system, but this picks up off the ground. There is another one, part of root crop storage by, it's either Vanquish 081 or DD Mod Passion. But this one, the reason why this one stands out is if you go for the higher speed option, this is 40 kilometers per hour or 26 miles an hour. So if you're moving around the yard, when they normally go at 3 miles an hour, you don't actually have to hook this up to a trailer to get it out to the field. You can just drive it as it is up to 26 miles an hour. So moving it around is an absolute doddle. Its capacity and what's the word I'm looking for? Throughput is fairly high. It works with pretty much everything. It's a cracking mod. It just works really well. I think that's really the theme of what I've been saying a lot. Is they work well. They're great mods. They make you smile. They make you happy. They remind you of something, or they just work. You know. So if you don't want to set up loads of different conveyor belts, one that picks up off the ground and puts onto another, and this one does it all in one hit. There's the TC816 that comes with this, which is an extension conveyor belt, but this has got a fairly good range on it, extension as well. It's brilliant. It really is. The Grimmer SL8022 Quantum and TC816 Autoload by Dr. Drulia. Next, now we have got some buildings. This was a tricky one. Production chains, factories, sell points, decorations, sheds, buildings. There are so many. to say have I got a favourite shed or a favourite, I don't know really. There are so many production chains that stand out, and ones that I use because they're really helpful, because they're efficient, but these stand out to me as a favourite. Now that I've met the modder, Omatana, she's such a lovely lady. Because of how useful they are and helpful they are, but they're nicely made, they work well, you've got some extra productions that come with them as well, which I think really stands out. This is the farm production pack by Omatana. Now we have got the potato production version, we've got bakery production, as you can see with the extra things in here. So this will do French fries, it will do premium potatoes. Where are we? You've got a thing here, let's click on it. Sugar beet sugar, and potatoes, pig food. You have to put some other bits and bobs in, but you can do pig food with this. And we'll go for more here. The bakery production. So you can do bread and cake as a bakery can, wheat and barley flour as well, but you can make spaghetti as well, which is cool. Extra little thing. The dairy production, butter, cheese, soybean drink, oat drink, and strawberry ice cream thrown in there. Fruit production, tomato sauce, mixed salad, raisins, and grape juice. So that would be your standard with the extra ones thrown on top. Then oil production, sunflower, canola, olive oil. I mean, that's standard, but they're the reason I'll talk about in just a moment. Cereals production, oatmeal, popcorn, and cereal. And then the barn, well, we'll have a look in the mod tab, I'll show you. If we go to production. So, starting from this end, another reason why this is a favourite, why I like it. You've got these at 50,000, which isn't too expensive for a production building anyway, but the various different options like a red barn option, a squared red barn, brick, more of a European French style, a standard wood frame one, a plastered one, those will do all of those productions in one. So for 50 grand you can do everything if you wanted to. But what I like are these. So if you're just getting going and you have a little production on the side of your farm next to your barn where you've got a particular crop type, and it doesn't matter if you're only going to do one thing, you might have a surplus of potatoes, you might have a surplus of whatever it might be, you might have a whole load of flour. They're 10 grand each, so they're not expensive to buy, they don't take up a lot of room. So at 10 grand, if you think, well, I'll buy one of those and I'll produce a load of stuff, like say with the bakery one, if I just made flour and with the flour made spaghetti, I've got a surplus of flour, I'll put it in here, let's make spaghetti, why not? At 10 grand, it doesn't break the bank. When you've run it all through and you've sold all your spaghetti, you'll make more than 10 grand. It doesn't break the bank. When you've got ones that are 200,000 and you start thinking, by the time I've run anything through it, am I actually going to make any profit on this at all? These make it affordable, and the fact they're in so many different options as well. Or if you don't want to run 5 separate ones, you just buy one that does it all. And again, with Omatana's mods, they're really nicely made, nicely detailed. They look great. You've got something that will fit on most maps depending on where you are. You can pick one that goes with whatever. They're just, yeah, brilliant. The Farm Production Pack by Omatana. Some honourable mentions before we get on to the last mod. We have got, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the Lizard XJ by Ridiculous Dominic. Have I got one of these on here? I might have. Here we go. So, I mean, it could have been a top 21, top 25, you know, there are so many. I love this mod because this has got an auto-load function, standard capacity, unreal capacity, so suspension options, loads of tyre choice. You can raise and lower suspension up depending on the size wheels you've got. If you're going through deep water, you can raise it up a little bit. It sounds great, it works well, winch options. It's a brilliant mod. I'll say no more on that one. Lizard XJ by Ridiculous Dominic. TLX mods, anything TLX by 82 Studio, phenomenal, just love them. They're brilliant mods, they're great, they stand out. And then another honourable mention, again, I just ran out of spaces on my list. The Lightweight by Mantrid. Again, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you will know it's my go-to weight. It works brilliantly on any vehicle, but because you can attach it either side when you're working with things like I've got one here, look, with the telehandler. It will attach onto just a hitch, so that's your 3-point link side, but the other side's got a regular hitch side, so you can add weights onto telehandlers and stuff. And because it's got lights on it that can extend up as well, and light poles, just works brilliantly. The Lightweight by Mantrid, those are honourable mentions. So the last of the mods then, I thought I'd ride over. There's another pack. This is by a great friend of the channel. This is by Farmer. Now again, this is not anything. Say not anything. I'm sure he's one of the first people that did this. I'm sure he was. And this is the basic pastures pack by Farmer. Honourable mention on the side of this is the Fenceless Husbandries by Cookie Cat, which I also like, but this one for me. You can have cows, horses, pigs, sheep, chickens in this pack. Large open area, so if you want it to be an open pasture, you can place it in a field. Free range animals out to that extent. Some of them you do get, it's a much smaller, I think it's a nav mesh it's referred to, the distance your animals will go. But the posts are there so you can see where the edge of that is. So if you want to place fences or you want to put buildings up to it, you won't have animals running in and through your buildings, that kind of stuff. Those posts can be removed. If I come to this section here, so you can put those away, and then you've got a truly, for all intents and purposes, open pasture. I think the chickens holds 450. I'm sure the cows is 100. Actually, we'll have a look. Why not? Under animals. So out in the end there. So the cows one. And again, cheap is not the word. 5 grand. That's all for 100 cows. And if you wanted to do 400 cows for 20 grand, link 4 together. Just put the posts close to each other. Yeah, you've got 4 points where you've got to feed them, but you can link them together. Or overlap them slightly, or however you want to go about it, so it looks like they're kind of intermingling if you want to do that. Horses, again 5 grand, that will do 10. Pigs, 5 grand will do 120. Sheep, 5 grand at 120. Chickens, 450 for 5 grand. It's another one of those mods. It does exactly what it says in the tin. It works well. Another thing I like about this is that was done specifically by Farmer is when you place it, it won't adjust your groundlet, it won't adjust your terrain. So because I've got grass down here already, it will place it down and it will leave the grass as it is. It doesn't imprint over the top, it doesn't remove your grass and just give you a flat grass texture you've got up over the top. If I'd have put this over the top of, actually I'll show you, if we go to animals and we'll go to, it doesn't matter, let's go to horses and pick that. If I place this, I'm going to have to find a spot now. I've got space. Got them over here, there. So if I place it here, there you go, it's placed it. It hasn't adjusted the ground. It hasn't put any other texture down, it's just gone on top of the ground textures there, which means it won't ruin any landscaping you've done already, but it also gives the option that once it's placed, if I now want to add in my landscaping, I can. So it's not going to remove anything straight away, but you can add to it. I would rather it that way round than if you placed it down and it took away a load of, you know, you've just spent ages putting in grass texture and you've paid for that all to be put down and it takes it away, you've then got to put it back on again. I like that as an option for it. Again, it works really, really well. So, that's my top 20. People asked, top 21, top 23, however many it worked out with honourable mentions. And again, for various different reasons. As I said at the start, your list will be different for whatever reason you like particular mods, whether it's nostalgia, whether it reminds you of something, whether it reminds you of a person, a different time in your life, whether it's just you love the mod, you love engineering, you love something that stands out, whatever it might be. That's my top 20 favourite mods on Farming Simulator 22 at the moment. That list could change as mods come out and new stuff happens and we get all different things, and that list will change. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.